Hey there again. Well, this is my next project. Instead of doing the coloured mandalas, I thought I'd do a sea creature, like a turtle. It was, I had to really clean it up on the computer. It was basically one of the kids' colour in pages. And I just put it in, I took a photo, loaded it into the computer, and then the program I use is Lightburn. And it was very messy. These lines weren't here. I just had to focus on the turtle. And it was quite messy. There was bits of pieces of, I don't know what you would call it. I just had to clean it all up, tidy the edges up, remove some parts of it, and then added these lines here in it. Then put it all into a circle the size of my mold. I haven't done no video on the program. There are a lot of information out there of how to use the programs. I went into that node editing side of Lightburn and came up with this nice clean piece. I have another one here which I'm going to be doing in a few days time of this. It's a sea scene, and it was actually a drawing of my partner, and I've taken a photo of it, put it into Lightburn, changed a little bit but not too much, and cleaned it all up so that I can have nice clean lines. And then I cut it out on the laser, spray painted it black, and that'll be my next project. But right now I'm working on the turtle, and I've got a turtle now that I can use in anything. It's really good, and colour-in pages are a good resource. You can just go down to the shop, buy kids colour-in, and there are a lot of pictures in there. It's black lines on white paper. Take a photo, load it into your program, trace it, and then clean up all the detailed parts about it. Whereas this I'm really happy with, and it turned out great. This will be turned out the other way, so he'll be facing the other way. But it was just all spray painted black, and then that was finished. It took me about 3 hours to get this to this point. And then what I did, there's been some people asking about mixing my resin. Well, everybody can work out how to mix the resin. My resin is a 1-to-1 basis, and the one that I'm working with at the moment is Art Coat JR resin. It is a slow cure, 1-to-1, and it is working out very nicely, and it's not too expensive. So I thought this was good. I actually did this last night. I set the cutout into the resin. The resin was 1-to-1. I put a little bit in there, and then I just sat this cutout on top of the resin. It sinks in a little bit, but you don't want to overfill it so it's overflowing on all your wood. It has to at least be halfway up, but that's about it, which is only about 1.5 mil. So less is more. You can always add a little bit more resin to it, but it's harder to take it out if you overfill it. Not that that's a total loss. You can still do this dry brush. Even if you do get everything level, it's fine. This just causes a concave effect when it dries, and then when you turn it out, it gets like a pillowing effect on the other side, which is really good. So this was done. I was in here, I think it was about 11 o'clock last night, poured the resin, sat this in here. I'd spray painted this first and let it dry, set it in here, and then I went off and went to bed. I got up this morning, and it was still a bit tacky, and it still is a little bit now. It's actually curing quite well now, and I need to sort of get the colours on here before it cures too much. Not a total loss if it does, but I just prefer when it's at a tacky stage. It was more tackier when I started. When you're doing big backgrounds like this, it's harder to get the powdered, the powder onto the surface, so it needs to be a little bit tacky. But that's fine, and it still works. But on larger areas, it can be a bit more difficult rather than these smaller areas here. But anyway, moving forward, I did some of the background on here already. I used a range of blues and some sparkles of shimmers of the mica powders that I do have. And there's some blues, some electric blues, some sapphire colours, and it was just really a range of different blues and greens on the background. Nothing major, but I just wanted something on the background. This all gets covered over again with, like, I might actually put blue on the background before coating it with black, but we'll wait and see what happens. I liked the effect of the blue coming through these colours a little bit, which is really good too, and then covering it all with black. I did that on another piece that I did with the sunflower and the dragonfly, and that worked out really well. But now I'm just sort of going to do some of the colours on here. I don't actually know what colours I'm going to do the turtle, but I'm just going to do probably not even turtle colours, but I'm just going to put a range of colours and then just see how they come out. I'm pretty sure it'll look really good. So I haven't even chosen any. So sometimes I just like to pick a colour and use it without even thinking about it. And that's how I do all my artwork. There's very little planning of colour, and some work, some don't, but it's all very different, and it depends on what state of mind you're in at the time as well. And like this one is the first time I'm doing it, so yeah, so let's get to it before I waste too much of your time. It's only been 6.5 minutes. I don't know how long this is going to take. Doing this background, it took me like an hour and a half this morning, and it would have been very tedious to watch the whole lot. If I'm doing this and it takes too long, I will try and edit the footage. I don't know how to do that yet, but we'll see how we go. I'm actually not even sure what colours I want to do. It's crazy. But I will start with some. You can do highlights, like it's the turtle shell. So I guess you can probably start with a few of the highlights in the middle part for a bit of reflection from above. And you just place them in there. And it can all be the same if you want. I'll just do it this way for now. It just gives it a bit more depth. I got silent, I'm sorry. And then you can leave like that, really. And then when you put other ones in it, you sort of blend them together and it comes up with a really good effect. Like I've done some in here and in here. This has got 3 different colors in. Some darker ones down here and a blend up here. You can hardly see them at the moment, but I'm pretty sure once you get the dark color on the back, on the other side, it'll work out really well. And it's like these, the colors are very subtle, but I'm sure they will be seen. There's a lot of green in this one. But I think the turtle is really, really cool. And then you just carefully put the mica on. This has cured quite a bit, but still, I think I got it in time. And it is going on very nicely. Can even take a little bit out of there, spread it about. Like I've seen some of these turtles in all kinds of colours, nice and bright. But yeah, I hope everyone likes this and gives it a a shot themselves. A lot of people have, and I've been getting lots of questions, which is great that people are taking on this idea and going with it. But the sky's the limit, or even the sky's beyond the limit of what you can do. But I love doing it. Like this won't be totally finished and actually seen of what it's going to turn into until tomorrow. But like, subscribe. My daughter's working on my Instagram page, so I can maybe post some stuff on there as well. Still working on my colours. Got to get my packaging sorted out, as I keep on saying. But these colours are just brilliant. So happy with what's happened with them. And if you are a bit sensitive to all this dust, you really should wear a mask. But yeah, this is all color changing ones, and like I'm so, like my hands are covered with powder. They're very good colors. So I'm just using a bunch of different ones. And you just go with it. And I'm pretty sure it works fine every time. No matter what you do, really. You can have something in your head and it'll turn out mostly like you want, but with subtle differences. And the good thing about this, you can go over the lines a little bit, because when you turn it over the other way, all the black covers up all that part anyway. I think that's enough of this one here. So I've got some blues and violets here. Like this is going to be one colourful turtle. I'll get some different colour now. Some blues into it. But this one is the colour shifted, like blue, green, violet and red. And it just goes on so well. So yeah, so I don't have a video of mixing, but if that's something that you want to see, let me know. But I'll be mixing some of the resin during this one anyway, because I'll top it all off once I've got this done, if it doesn't take me too long. And this is just dry powder on tacky resin. They're my own colours, so if you're interested in buying some, it'll be available at the end of the month. And I know I keep saying that in all my videos, but the colours are great. I can't say that enough. I'm going to have to swap brushes. Get a bigger brush, a bigger tip. And then you can just blend it through, and then the light hits it. And just make sure you've got all your spaces covered. I don't think there is any way you can mess this up. Any way at all. But yes, it's very colourful. I was a bit nervous in doing a total, because I think, oh no, how am I going to colour it? And then I got and looked at a lot of total pictures, and the total can be any colour you want. Got another hot day here in Australia. Today it's going to be like 38 degrees. Which is the norm for this time of year. I think that's all the top of his shell done, with a lot of light reflection from above. Tame it about, make sure you get all these bits. But I think that top part's done. I can stand to the side and I can see there's blues and reds and violets and gold and yellow. There's lots of colours in that. So it should turn out really cool. It's a shame that it doesn't turn up so much on this video. Turn on that light now. Change the different lights. Oh, there's a little bit there. But no, that's fine. Choose our next colour. So now we're going underneath, so I might try when it's a little bit deeper in colour, like for under his neck. We'll see. Here we go. Just some of the wrinkles under his neck, I think, should be a bit darker, so to speak. So just go with your gut. And that's what art's all about. I'll try a bit of this one as well, because I want some of that in here. That is a nice green gold colour. And then you can just dab a little bit around the place and highlight certain parts. Gives it more of a 3D feel about it. And just follow what you want to do. So I've got some blue, violet, red and orange. Just to give a little bit of a different take on the colour. But all these colours just go so well with each other. So I'm just choosing to go lights and darks where I would think they would fit. And so far they seem to be fitting quite well. But you're not really going to know until it's completely finished and you've turned it all out. So it's a bit of a nice surprise, because it changes again. Like you can get some sort of idea of what's going on, but you're not really gonna know until it's finished. And because it's done upside down, which I think is really cool, so there's an element of a mystery to it, which I think is really a really good surprise. And I don't think you should have to control every single part of your art. But that's actually coming out really good. Here, like it goes from a really nice violet color, and then you're seeing an orange, and then there's the orange here with this greeny gold, almost blue above it. So I might actually go in with some more of this because it's a good highlight. I'll go over here, but I need to add more of that one to it, which I'm pretty sure it was the yellow, green and blue. It wasn't. Oh yes, it was. It's just a bit thinner. But it was a nice highlight. Just at the top. Just for the slight change in light reflection. I just love the way the light catches on everything, really, even just in normal life, the way that light catches on the ocean, different times of the day. The shimmers, even the bottom of a swimming pool, the way the light moves. Like it's blue, but it just changes the colour. Brings out different feelings, different moods that you could be in. But light is great. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this little guy is going. It doesn't need to be everywhere. Just a little bit of an illusion. I'm actually going to put some here. One thing I forgot to do on this was, well, I probably won't tell you. It's my little mistake, so I won't point it out. But it gives them a bit of character. And we'll go back to the green, blue, and violet, which and this one is the blue, violet, red and orange, which was very nice. Like, I've had this idea of the turtle in my mind for a while, but just never got round to doing it. Like, having so many projects I want to do, but the artist in me took over yesterday and I sat at the computer for hours and came out with this little guy. I got a 10-watt laser, so this took an hour and a half to cut out. It's only on MDF, which is it is really good to use. Takes the spray paint, and I love working with resin and spray paint. But it's coming out really good. But I actually need a bit of this one here, just to highlight some of these parts. And then go over with some of this blue one again. I do like the violet, orange and red. It just goes so well. I'm too scared to move on to other colours now since these ones are working out. Oh, it does look a bit of a mix and match, but that's fine. You could have done them all the same colour even if you wanted to. But all these shimmers that are happening are pretty cool. Honestly, I can't wait till he comes out of the mould. I actually get to see what I've been blabbering about. Can move this around, get into some gaps that maybe are missed. That's coming out nicely. Now I've got the other flipper to do. I can start with a little bit of this up here. This is still curing as I'm doing all of this. Even some of these mica powders that are actually a bit grainier, so if I can put it that way, are sticking as well. So I'm using some of the colours that probably may not be as good if it was a bit more cured. I'm glad that I can use them. Changing colours again. Going back to this blue one, but I might try and find something a bit brighter. To bring this flipper a bit more forward. This is also another good colour. Nice. Like it goes on violet, but there's on another angle. It's comes out orange. And it's coming out on the camera quite nicely. But this green gold shimmer that I put on here to begin with, these little bits here, are it's a nice contrast. And then this domed effect that happens when you turn it over, it's just going to go so well with it. And the more you do this, the more you then and have a plan on, or at least a picture in your head of how something is actually going to look. I'm just randomly going in here. It looks so cool. It's a different looking turtle, I will say that. Okay, so far this video has gone for 35 minutes and I'm still not done. I hope I can edit it, otherwise you guys are going to have to go through all of this with me. But I guess if you're doing your own work as well, you can follow along. I could probably even sell you this this file I made if you wanted to just go along with me. Yeah, I've converted it into an SVG file, which I didn't know how to do until the other day. It was quite a simple process, and then it can be emailed. That's if you wanted to buy it, that is. Like, I've never bought a file from anybody. I've seen a lot of people selling them, but if you get to know your program, you can actually make them yourself. I'll just use a bit more highlight. This is a yellow, green, blue. Just to put a couple of different colors randomly through here. Still haven't decided on these bigger areas yet. But I'm sure I will. But it's coming together very nicely. More of this through here. And now he's looking really, really cool. Okay, I'm just going to go totally different now. So I've just got blue. So this one here, blue and violet. Because I think it might be one of the darker ones that I've got, and it might suit the underneath part here a bit better than some of the other ones that I've got. I actually need to go with a bigger brush. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I like that. It darkens it just a little bit, probably not as much as I'd hope, but once the back colour goes on, it brings all these colours out even more. So it can actually come out totally different than this once it's finished. So you just got to make sure that you can go over them again if there's any bits you've missed. Any other colour will fill it in, so there's bits here which are a bit darker. So I actually might use this. I might use it a bit here as well. Oops, sorry, I keep whispering. Use a little bit of it in there. He is looking so good. I've just got a little bit more to go. So now I need something a bit deeper. And if you don't want any mix of colours, just brush the powder out. And then start again. So this one is a yellow, red and green. Depending on your angle, and just mixing these colours, the dust, with each other. And that's how you actually make your own colour combinations. It is a bit difficult and a bit random, but once you get the right mix, which is what I've done, you can come up with some colours. I think that's why these all blend so well together. I'm actually going to go into this one. He's almost done. Well, at least this side is anyway. It's turned out really well. Very, very happy with it. Although these colours will change once the black goes on. It'll still be basically like this, but all the colours will be a bit deeper. You might think there's not much colour on, but move your head about. You can actually see that there is colour there. I think that's most of it. I've just got his beak to go now, and it's not too sure what to do that one. I might actually try a little bit of this one. This is a green golden blue. I'll use a little bit to begin with. Not quite what I was looking for. I have a red gold. This can like go quite red, and I'm not sure whether that's what I want. Got a little bit up here. We'll go with it. I think that's fine. Something different than everywhere else. It's very red though, like really red. I do like red. Scrub it in a little bit. Just go over everything. And it all stuck very nicely. That is so cool. Wow, can't believe it. That red was one of the really chromy type, and they're just so cool. I've got a limited number of them ones because I wasn't sure how well they'd go. They are a little bit more expensive, not too much, but I will get all the prices all sorted out. Put them in little sachets like this. Oh, it's all over my finger. Ooh. Right. Now I need to move on. So I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this. The coverage was very good, because I was going to do some blues and then black, but that'll be 2 applications of it. But I think I actually might do that if I put 1 layer of blue, because if there's any gaps that I've missed or any of the powder that didn't stick to the resin, the blue will come through it, which is okay, and then I can top it all off with black, and I think that's what I might do with it. And yeah, that's what I'll go with. And then late tonight I can put the coating of black over the top. And then it should be ready tomorrow. I know this video is dragging on now for 49 minutes. I've lost my measuring cups. Where are they? It's okay, I found one here. Now I've got my mixing cup and a stir stick. Okay, so I'm using the JR resin. I'm not sure if you can get this anywhere else other than Australia, but we will see Just have to do a search on Amazon. That's where I got it. It was just a random one that I chose because it was a reasonable price to do this sort of art. If I was doing a countertop or even a trivet, I would go with stone coat. It's heat resistant, and as far as I'm concerned, it is a fantastic product. Not that I'm giving them a bit of a plug, but JR Resin is also very good for artwork. This will get hung on the wall. Unless it gets sold. I've only ever sold like of this type of art one piece. I sold it for 65 Australian dollars. And the lady loved it. So I posted it down to her. It was $14 postage within Australia, which was pretty good. And in the pack I also gave her some I sent her a couple of the Christmas coasters and some of my honey. So she got a bargain. It was all before Christmas. I was so overwhelmed that somebody actually wanted to buy one of my pieces, which was really exciting. So yeah, she paid $65 for it, and it's now hanging on her wall. And she said these are so much better in person. Pictures don't do it any justice, but that's just the way it is. Now you don't want to spill any of your resin onto your work, because you will have a sticky spot and there's no way of getting rid of it unless you wipe it all down and start again. So careful not to drip. So that was part B of the resin, and now we're mixing part A. Part B is usually thinner, not quite like water, but thinner, and part A is usually quite thick, thicker than honey. I'm just using 100 mils of each. These little cups I'm measuring in are 100 mils, so total amount is 200 mils. Now I've got pouring out part A. I think these mixing parts can be a bit boring, so I'm trying to think of what I can say, but like, subscribe, any questions, feel free to ask, I'm happy to answer. This is a method of art that I've been playing around with for quite a long time now. I only started on small pieces, coasters and stuff like that, which is really good. I did some jewellery ones, and these all worked out really, really well. Colour shift in there. Before going to these larger pieces. But yeah, you can do anything. This is now a picture one. It's because the sunflower and dragonfly that I did in an earlier video worked out so well, I thought I'd go down this road too. Because it did work out so well, and not just coasters anymore. Okay, part A, part B is now in my cup, and then I mix carefully. You still don't want to incorporate too many bubbles, but bubbles will happen. I use isopropyl alcohol once it's poured over this to get rid of some bubbles, but you actually don't see this behind part now. So if there is bubbles in there, you're not going to see them because you actually see the other side of this artwork. So I'll mix this a little bit, get everything combined. And when you're using cups like this, I've got 200 mils here, it will heat up really, really quickly. But you still have time, and just go carefully. But I'd say with any of this, what I'm doing, start with a coaster. Start with a small coaster. Like Christmas one that I did. Other coasters that I've done. These patterns are this size. These cannot be enlarged. I did make a large one since doing these because I liked this pattern so much. But when you enlarge it, your squares get bigger, your diamonds get bigger. And I wanted to keep it all very small. So the piece of that I did the other day, I made one of them this size so that all these little diamonds in there were small as well. So they actually look like jewels inserted, which is really cool. And with this mica powder is great. So keep in touch if you're interested in buying some of the mica powder. Let me know. I will get back to you on pricing towards the end of the month. I know it's getting there already, but I've just got a couple of things to work out, like paying into my bank, so I'll go through bank details. I don't know if I'll go through Etsy because I want to keep the cost down, but bank transfer seems to be the go, maybe even PayPal. Just still thinking about it, of what best to do. Postage you get with everything, so you can't avoid that one. But these colours are just, I can't say enough about them. So far I've got 25 colours to start with. I do have other ones in the works, but 25 is what I'm starting with to begin with, and then I'll go from there. If anybody wants to buy any of my work, let me know and I can work something out with that. Or if you want to order something, we can work that out too. But learn the process yourself. You'll be very surprised. Okay, I've mixed the resin, done a couple of minutes now. I'm just going to add a blue. And it can be any blue. I'm just adding this blue here. It's an electric blue, which is really nice even on its own. And then I just mix that in. Wow, it looks better on the camera. That's the blue there. Nice and shimmery. And if you've got other projects in the works, you can, like little molds, use up resin. Like I had a little bit of black and I had an idea of, I've got these new molds, they're just like spheres small ones because I might be doing some little necklaces. And I wanted to do eyeballs. So I actually used a bit of black resin to do the pupil, left that in the bottom of it, and I did a little bit of dry brushing in that with some red. I put some of this blue in for around the pupil. And last night I dry brushed some red into it. And then poured white with a little bit that I used left over from pouring this, because I didn't need all the clear. And that worked out nicely. I haven't demolded them yet, so if you're lucky you might get to see them. I'm a bit of a horror freak as well. I just wanted to do eyeballs. It was a fun little thing. Makes it interesting. Okay, so this blue is ready. I will pour this over this now, and then it will be left until tonight, and then I'll top it off with black. And then unveil it tomorrow and see what we end up with. So here goes. No turning back now once this blue goes on. But do not scrape this resin around. Just let it roll around and do its own thing. Sometimes it's easier to work on a board like this. Whoops, that moved. And you can just guide it around. Just let it roll around. Let it cover it. Hopefully nothing will move. It hasn't before, so I can't see it being a big deal. Get all your spaces. Because resin will go where resin has been. Right, that's got everywhere now. So then you just move it back. Just turning it a little bit. I don't think my surface is quite level, but it's fine. So you can get some of the bubbles out just using the isopropyl alcohol. Those of you who live in Australia who actually watch this, got it from Bunnings. So that now will be left to cure. And then I'll come back later tonight and pour over black, and then unveil it tomorrow. As for some spare resin that I've had, these round sphere molds. Really, really good. My eyeballs are in there. I dry brushed round. And they actually look really cool. So yeah, let me just have a look at them. It should be cured enough, pretty sure. I won't put it over the work because if the eye pops out, it could do damage. And there we go. An eye. How cool is that? I love it. But anyway, he's watching you. Thanks for watching. I'm going to pour the black over it tonight. I probably won't do a video of that, but I will definitely reveal it tomorrow. And we can all share on what this is going to look like. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Cheers. See ya.